Right, so now I've identified what's wrong with the car. I explained before that the bearing is grinding with the clutch pressure plate. So today what I'm going to do is take the gearbox off, and to do that, first of all, you've got to jack the car up, and the advice is that when you do jack the car up, the Cobra is such a small car, you need to jack one side slowly, go to the next side, otherwise you'll find that both wheels on one side will come off the ground. And that's what I've done. So I'll continue to do that now. So now, I'm jacking up the rear of the car. Right, so when I've done that, I've got to do the same on the other side. As you can see here. So you've got to jack up. So you've got to jack up both sides simultaneously so the car stays square. Now in the front, I bought these ramps in 1989 when I was building the first Cobra, and they've served me very well. The car needs to be that high before you do anything regarding the gearbox. And so now the next thing to do is to put the stands underneath. So we need to make sure that the car doesn't fall down when I'm under. I think that's pretty high. Okay, and then I've got to do the other side, put the stand underneath. These are all very important points, safety points if you're working on any car really. So the next stage now, the next thing to do now is to disconnect the battery. Very important. So we disconnect the battery here, the battery in the Dax. Is at the back, and all I'm doing here is disconnecting one terminal. It doesn't want to come off. There. So that's the first stage. And I have to put this stand under here. And again, just lower it down. And there we are. So the car is nice and safe now. So the next stage. Next stage is to remove the starter motor. I don't know if you can see it from here. Let's see if you can see it from there. And the starter motor is just under this pipe here. So that's the first thing I have to do. Disconnect the starter motor. Disconnect the earth lead, which is down here, and undo the bolts. Remove the bolts that are connecting the drive shaft, prop shaft, not the drive shaft. So that's my next task, and I'll get on with that now, and see you in the next video. I'm now in a position to take out the starter motor. So safety first. Whenever I work under the car, I always wear these goggles. Very, very important. You only get one set of eyes, guys, so please pay attention to that. So now I'm going to give you a quick overview of what's under the car. Also, when I'm working, I always have a bucket there. That's to catch any nuts and bolts that may fall, so you know where they are. It's very hard to find nuts and bolts sometimes. When they fall, they roll all over the place. Okay, so what you're looking at here, this is the engine sump. This is the engine sump. This is one thing I do love about American classic cars. They like to chrome everything. You know, it looks nice and clean and neat. And this is no exception. So that's the engine sump. The gearbox is there. This is a Chevy bell housing, and the gearbox is from a Toyota Supra, the one which has a single turbo. Under here, we've got the starter motor, and it is held on by those two bolts, which are 14mm. And the starter motor has this one very long red cable. This cable runs all the way along to the back of the car and connects up to the battery, as you saw earlier on. And on top of that, you can see then you've got the cables there from the switch and so on, and the brown one is live, and I've got to disconnect those. The small one is 8mm, and I've already undone it, so I just undo it by hand. I'll just put that bucket there so that when this bolt, if it falls down here and I can find it. Okay, so this one is 13mm. Let's undo that. Undo that. Okay, it's loose. So we take this off. Oops, that one nearly fell. Straight into the bucket. So these wires, then you just undo these wires and just leave them to one side, basically. And then you've got this cable here. That's the cable, very thick cable. So that's the positive cable, positive terminal, and we'll just leave that to one side there. So now to get the starter motor, all I have to do is to undo these bolts here. It's torqued up quite well, and this one as well. It's a bit difficult to film, and so now undo these bolts. So these bolts hold the starter motor. It's quite easy. I mean, I think all the Chevy starters are designed this way. So, you know, if you look up how to change the starter motor on any of the YouTube channels, you'll probably get the same information. And so this particular model of Dax, you have to specify when you order the chassis. It's actually designed to take a Chevy engine. So the engine mounts, like you see up here, these engine mounts there are specifically for a Chevy engine. So let's undo that. So normally I'd use two hands. So getting a bit difficult to undo because it's leaning forward. Because I'm holding the, because I'm filming, it's a little bit difficult. Come on. I'm just going to leave it here for a minute. So there we are. And there we are. And that's the starter motor off. Well, that's all for part 1. I hope you liked the video and thank you for watching. Please subscribe and I'll see you next time. In the meantime, stay safe, stay crazy.